We first met Kim Roxie, founder of Lamique Beauty, when she participated in a panel at the Power of Passionistas Summit in 2020. We were instantly drawn to her company's mission to create a clean cosmetics line for women of color, women who historically have been marketed more toxic makeup options than their counterparts. Since the launch of Lamique 2.0 in 2020, Kim has turned her own struggle with hair loss into one of the most impactful beauty lines on the market. And she continues to break new ground with Lamique, including becoming the first Black-owned clean makeup brand to launch on Ulta.com.
Most importantly, Kim has built a company that embraces two core cultures: to be kind to people and to be kind to the planet. Lamique supports and celebrates women in all of their glory. Kim is building an inclusive community for women across the country and is passionate about serving that community. And she's creating the highest quality products with the purest ingredients to promote the health of her customers and her community, all while being dedicated to promoting environmental stewardship.
Kim has been named one of the Houston Business Journal's 40 Under 40, one of the American Business Journal's most influential young executives, and one of the 30 Black Stars by Face to Face Africa. The city of Houston formally named June 23rd as Kim Roxie Day in her honor. And she received the Barack Obama Lifetime Achievement Award for community service. She is without a doubt a superstar, which is why it is our distinct honor to present the 2022 Passionistas Persist Nova Award to Kim Roxie.
Wow, am I floored right now? Am I grateful? The words that come to my mind are, people don't have to show you appreciation. They can go along like it never happened. And, I appreciate the Passionistas because they have put their passion into action. And for that, I am so grateful. Being on this journey of creating an inclusive, a very kind makeup line in a world of beauty that sometimes seems intimidating, took a lot of passion, and it took a lot of grit, and it took a lot of belief. And so I thank you all for endowing me with this award and seeing the work that we're doing at Lamique as one to be honored. And I honor you for that. I honor you for seeing me. I honor you for seeing Lamique and what we're doing. So we're going to continue to make makeup that is speaking to all skin tones, that's showing up for all skin tones. But more than that, we're going to continue to be there for women in ways that others have forgotten about us. Thank you.
What are you most passionate about?
At this point, to be honest, what I'm most passionate about is almost like a variable that's changing. Right now, what I'm most passionate about is enjoying every moment and encouraging others to do the same. Like, that's what I'm really passionate about right now, is soaking in every single moment and giving others the freedom and reminding them that they have the freedom to do the same. And so in beauty, I'm always in a woman's ear, right? I'm always there for her. And right now, that's my most pertinent, passionate message, is to enjoy every moment right now.
What inspired you to create Lamique Beauty?
I have the inspiration from my mother, who believed in me when I was 21, who helped me financially, put her $500 to help me open up my own makeup shop when I was graduating from college. But she later developed metastatic breast cancer and passed away the year before my daughter was born. And now my daughter is named in honor of my mother, Loretta. But I have the passion of my mother inside of me. That's part of my inspiration. She wore makeup every single day, and she trusted that the makeup she was using was okay. But come to find out, as we did our research, it wasn't. And so I have that inside of me that's inspired me to create this line. And then I also have the desire for all women to see themselves in beauty. And so I remember going to the makeup counter when I was in high school, senior, and for prom, and getting my makeup done and looking like a ghost when I left, because my face was so ashy and so gray and so like a cast on my face. And I was thinking to myself, this doesn't make me feel beautiful. This doesn't make me feel good. And thinking we need makeup that makes people feel good. All skin tones needs to be accepted and appreciated. And so those are the things, right? And when I created my first product for Lamique, it was inspired by my personal diagnosis with alopecia, a form of alopecia that I have that causes hair loss. And my first product was inspired by that, our Revelation Brow Duo, to fill in my own eyebrows so they could frame my face, because 75% of the framing of your face comes from your brows.
Why was it important to you to build not just a company, but a community of women?
Because I wanted, women to realize how powerful we are together. So there's this staggering statistics that talk about, and that I know, that 0.006% of Black women raise venture capital, 2% of women raise venture capital. But with crowdfunding, for instance, women actually do better with the raising funds in a crowdfunding atmosphere. And what does crowdfunding take? Crowdfunding takes in community. So I remember going to ifundwomen.com to set up a rewards-based crowdfunding campaign. And I was able to raise the money that I needed to launch my website, do all the stuff I needed to do to get ready to launch. And all of that happened because other women read our story, believed in our mission, and said, hey, I'm gonna put $25 behind it, $50, $100, $250. And that's how we were able to raise the money to launch Lamique. So I think that, for me, community is everything, because we get to show each other what we can do when we come together, when we band together, and everybody's input and contribution can add up to mean a lot. And now our community shows up for us in so many different ways. For us to be on Ulta.com, that was because our community showed up and voted for us to win a pitch competition. And that's how we got on Ulta.com. It wasn't because I knew the buyers or anything like that. All of this work is from the ground up. This is like, I'm just like anybody else who's watching. Like people watching are probably more important than me. Like, I am not a celebrity. I am not anybody important. I'm just a regular old girl from Houston that, gets to travel a lot of different places so I can expose myself to different things. But it's nobody I knew, that was going to give me sort of this leg up, right? All I had was my faith in God and utilizing that to say, hey, when we come together, I've seen it happen in church. I've seen people raise money at church to pay, one of the ladies' light bills or something like that. I've seen people come together, do stuff. And that's why I saw it. And I sort of mimicked it in crowdfunding. And that's why I believe in community.
Why have you decided that kindness is a cornerstone of your business?
I remember someone asking me what Lamique stood for, Nancy. And I was originally, I'll tell you, Lamique actually was my name spelled backwards, and the LA from my middle name. But I never had told anybody that. That's just something, that's how I created the name. And that's what I had. But when someone asked me what Lamique stood for, in that moment, I said it out. I was like, and it was the first time anybody ever asked me what Lamique stood for. And I said, love and makeup and kindness. And so the first time somebody asked me what Lamique stood for, I could not say Kim spelled backwards. That didn't even come out, because all the work I did to put into creating Lamique, I was doing it beyond myself. Like, if it was for me, I would have not done it. Like, I would have stopped. Like, once the challenge comes up, I would have been like, I'm good. Let me go do something else. But it wasn't about me, and it's not about me. And so in that moment, when someone asked me, what does Lamique stand for? I said, love and makeup and kindness. And I said, love and kindness is your true makeup, because beauty is revealed and not applied. I think that for me growing up, makeup and all of that was associated with people. You had all these different stereotypes and connotations towards makeup. And I didn't identify with some of those. I didn't feel like I was just this pretty girl wearing makeup. Then I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like, oh, I want to just cover up and I want to put on makeup. I didn't feel like I was fitting in these boxes that people had put. And I was like, my love and my kindness, the way I am, the love I have for life and for people and for myself and for others, and the kindness that I show, that's what makes you beautiful. That makes you walk away from a person and says, man, that's a beautiful person, right? After you talk to a person or after a person does a kind act, you're like, that is a beautiful person, right? And so I think that the beauty that is revealed is the beauty that's lasting.
Tell us about a time that you have persisted in your life and how you got through that.
I had my makeup shop that I ran from 2004 to 2018. And closing that makeup shop in 2018 for me was almost like how people feel when they like leave their corporate job. Because I was so used to opening up that store every day, working inside of that store, having my staff there, like we're so used to that life that when I closed it, and I initiated the close because I had this vision of building a makeup line for 2020. And when I closed it, I was like, okay, excited. I got this vision. I'm going to revamp. I'm going to, really concentrate on the products. I'm going to launch Lamique, the product line, all of I had this like vision. But about I joined an accelerator the month after I closed my store, April of 2018 in Austin, Texas, Div Inc. And when I first got in there, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, just come up with some cute packaging, pick out some colors, some branding, launch your brand, And that's not what it was. I got tore down to the bare bones. I got tore down almost to just like the foundation. You know how the people say like, you can you tear everything down, but keep the foundation and we're going to build back up. That's how I felt. I felt like I got torn down to the foundation. And it was like, no, you gotta really think through this. And so 2018, 2019, I had to be persistent to get through those times. You have to imagine, all I knew was having that store, having it open, and I'm trying to figure out e-commerce, and I was used to brick and mortar. This is when I had to persist. I had to persist in learning. A lot of us think about persisting in working, right? We think about just stay persistent in the work. What about when there's no work, it's only for you to learn? What about when you're in a learning season? And for someone who's used to, having a cash register full when they get done at the end of the night and all of that, right? But you're in a season of just learning. And it's like, you have to be persistent in learning. Wow. That was a season. So when 2020 came and we were ready to launch for March 2020, that was our date. The pandemic happened, everything, but for me, everything closed. What I did in 2018 happened for everybody in 2020. Brick and mortar closed, everybody closed, but I was opening up. And to be honest, it was the right type of attention for e-commerce business to launch in. And so it gave me the opportunity, and it gave me a spotlight opportunity to come through with exactly what I had. And if I wouldn't have taken that time to get ready for 2020, I wouldn't have been ready. I would have still had a brick and mortar. I would have been reactive. I would have been reacting and responding to what's happening versus proactive, putting in the market what needed to be there for that time. And that's what I came in and did.
What does the term power of passionistas mean to you?
When you think of passion, you think of being relentless. You think of being unwavering. You think of being crazy. You think of being, even to a certain extent, misunderstood. And sometimes it's not that you're doing something wrong, but it's other people's understanding. They're missing it. They're missing it, right? And they're understating what you're doing. And so, but then at some point, they rise up to the occasion to understand what you're doing at some point, at some time, at some juncture. And you have to be persistent enough to keep going till people get there, right? So when I think about the power of Passionistas, I think about this grid of power of people, of human beings, of women who are so passionate, so relentless, so crazy, so misunderstood, that they would continue to go beyond and be like a power grid for others to plug into that need it in the moment that they need it. And so what you all are doing, what you're standing up, this power grid that you have, that others like myself are able to plug into along our journey to give us the charge, to give us the battery life, to get through this journey of entrepreneurship and life and professionalism that it takes. So, you all just a power grid.
What's your dream for women?
To know that we are, we are fill in the blank after that. Okay. We are the salt of the earth. Okay. We are the divine beings that birth life, right? Like I just want women to know that we are what we've been waiting for. We are the answer. I want women really to fill in that blank at the end. I do believe in self-advocacy. And that's the reason why I answered that question towards my daughter, because I already know the promise that my daughter has on her life. So I know that she is. And when I think about women, I know that we are, and, for women, it is a we situation. I think, it is about us banding together. That's why I love the power grid of the Passionistas, power of the Passionistas. But I think that it's just that we are, and we get to fill in the blank. We are chemists. We are, owners of trash companies. We are, beauty pioneers. We are that fill in the blank. And I think that that's what I want women to know. It is time for us to just show up and define what womanhood looks like, and know that we are.